Why don't marriages seem to last today? I guess we'll look into that. Shalom, howdy, and how do you do? It is your wisdom Simone, and welcome back to my Candid Wisdom. I have some things in store for you all, y'all permit, this season. But for now, we're still answering questions. I think we're always going to be asking questions, not necessarily answering them, but asking questions and then seeing what's out there that could possibly answer the question. Or at least see if our opinions, or in this case, my opinion or my perspective, see what statistics actually back that up. That's generally what we've done, right? So as y'all permit, we grow. Definitely look forward to bringing you all the Overcomer series, working with that, having some guests talk about some things in life that they have overcome. Today we talk about marriages and why they don't last. And this came up because two of my, I don't want to say favorite, I'll say I admire these two couples. And I admire them for different reasons. Now, the first I want to discuss is Teyana Taylor and Iman Shumpert. I think I pronounced his name correctly. And it's always crazy to me. I understand that with celebrities, they present themselves to us with their stage names or what have you. But it's always weird to address a married celebrity couple and the female not have the husband's name. But again, I understand the names we know are the names of them as a business. They may have other stuff going on behind them. I think I've spoken of it before. Marriage isn't the first time. This isn't the first time, rather, we've discussed marriage on My Candid Wisdom. Go back, check out Season 2, Episode 4, WYA. We talk about marriage there. And I think in that episode, I mentioned what I'm about to mention now, just as far as business is concerned, and a woman keeping her maiden name as opposed to keeping or taking on her husband's name. Still weird, but I understand it for business. Anywho, Teyana Taylor has come out and said that basically her and her husband aren't together, that they broke up. But she didn't state any reason why, not that it's our business, but she saying that she came out because supposedly there were rumors floating around that infidelity had something to do with it, and she just wanted to clarify that there was no infidelity. But they're still cooperative individuals and they work together well to be able to continue to raise their children. Now, for me, this is sad because it's the breakdown of yet another melanated family. Despite what my personal convictions and beliefs are in comparison to their own personal convictions and beliefs, I still find it to be a not good situation because of a breakdown of a melanated family. And especially with children being involved, like they can still be cool parents as far as dealing with each other and not taking their children through any type of traumatic stuff by way of arguments and just overall childish, stupid behavior in front of them. At the same time, though, there's still kind of a void there, I think. So, although she says that they live peacefully separate, that still has the effect of kids some kind of way. So I was disappointed to hear that. The second couple is Remy Ma and Papoose. Now, I saw a rap battle between the supposed guy that she slept with, allegedly, um, and another guy. Now, this guy, his name is Geechee Gotti. Never heard of him. Never heard of either of these individuals. But Geechee Gotti tore her a whole new one. Okay. Now, to give you the overall of what I know of this situation, Remy Ma is a rapper, right? Now, a reason why this one I feel a little bit some kind of way more than Tiana Taylor. Tiana Taylor was an artist that I admired when I listened to that genre. I thought she was very creative. Her start was, I think it was like My Sweet 16. There was a show, I think it came on MTV, that would throw these elaborate or follow these teenagers throwing these elaborate Sweet 16 parties. I never watched it. But supposedly some of these celebrities that we know had shows or what have you, and she was one of them. I still don't remember ever seeing that, but I do remember hearing that. And she grew up to be very talented. She can dance, she can sing. I think she raps a little bit. I can't remember hearing her rap anything, but I do know that she dances and she sings, and she's very good at it. So when I saw that she got married, this is her first marriage that I'm aware of, and her husband's first marriage that I'm aware of, I was happy for her. They have, I forget how many kids, I think at least 2 beautiful children. So I'm happy to see people happy, but especially what looks to be a well-functioning and y'all permit prosperous melanated unit. So, again, disappointment. But Remy Ma, me being an artist me being an artist, there are, as an artist, other artists that you admire because, I mean, any artist is going to be like, yeah, I'm the best at it. There's nothing wrong with having confidence, but being realistic, you kind of know your space in whatever it is you do. And you know that there are people that have polished their talent maybe a little better than you. And then, of course, there are people that haven't, or people that just don't have the same talent. So, in that, Remy Ma was an artist that pre-life I'm in now, she was one that I admired because she was one of the few artists that I experienced that did not rap about her anatomy. And I believed what she said she would do. Now, in 2008, this is mainly why I believed what she said on her track she would do. In 2008, supposedly one of her friends, Makita Barnes Joseph, stole something from her. I think she stole some money or something, and they got in an argument about it. Remy Ma politely shot the girl. Remy Ma spent 8 years, I think 6 to 8 years in jail, right? So, in that time, there stands Papoose. Now, can I give you this in-depth background about Papoose? No, because he wasn't an artist that I looked at. I wasn't big on male artists from up north. That just wasn't a sound that captivated me like that. So, I've heard some of them, but as far as me making the choice to go listen to it on my own, I wouldn't. So Papoose was someone I hadn't heard, and if I did hear him, I didn't know who I was listening to. But I came to know who he was because of her. During her time in prison, this man stood by her. You would see all types of pictures on the internet of her. Like, usually it's the chick, right? And that's what got me about this whole situation with Remy Ma. Her real name, I believe, is Reminisce. And it was just crazy to me because, like I said, you usually see the female, the guy's locked up for whatever he's locked up for, and then you have the female that for these long spans of time will go sacrifice, do whatever she need to do so that she can go see her man, and you get the prison pictures. But here it is, the reverse. Papoose is doing this for Remy Ma, his woman. So eventually, of course, she gets out. Now, something that the guy said, the battle rapper, something that he said that struck me. He said they were the poster couple for black love. I could not disagree with him. Because as far as celebrities are concerned, like looking at them in that light, for me, they were. Because I had never seen any, and I'm thinking about it, I really don't count Beyonce and Jay-Z. Because I just don't count them. Maybe because I don't feel like I relate to them, but not to dip too far into that. But with Remy Ma and Papoose, for me, they were relatable, right? She hood and ratchet, and he just stand-up guy, appearing, seemingly. Like, everything I've seen of him, he seems like a really calm, chill dude, right? So, I don't know about this other guy. Don't know where he came from. Don't know how that even was a thing, but supposedly, allegedly, she messed with somebody else. And I don't know if they're getting a divorce. When I first saw an article, it said that they were divorcing because somebody cheated on somebody. And then I saw that it was her that cheated on him. How does that relate to what we're talking about? Because the initial question was, why don't marriages last? Now, this is where my opinion comes in. And then we go check out some statistics and we see if my opinion is fact or just my opinion. So we now live in the era of internet. And internet used to be something, at least when I was a kid, everybody didn't have the internet. I barely had the internet as a kid. So now it's readily accessible. You can get the internet free from the grocery store. All you do is walk in a grocery store and they likely have Wi-Fi. So that's how accessible the internet is now. And with that, any and everyone's opinion cannot be brought to your home. It cannot be brought to your vehicle, to your afternoon walk, to anywhere. And not only can it be brought, but you can send your own opinion. And there have been so many different quote-unquote relationship experts that have popped up all over everywhere. You got Derrick Jackson, who was found to be a cheat. You got Kevin Samuels, who was really hated. I used to hate Kevin Samuels. When I first was introduced to Kevin Samuels, I was like, who is this nigga? He act a little flimsy. Who is you to say what you saying? And after I was just like, one day I was like, let me just listen to him. Like, I really don't like him. But the only reason I don't like him is because I'm hearing his words from somebody else So let me listen to him directly and see what he has to say. And I can't say that I disagreed with a lot of what he said. Like, if you're really listening to him and you're really hearing him and you're not feeling him based on what you think you heard he said, you'll realize he was talking some sense. But he's dead now. And then you got, I only know of one female. That female is April Mason. I used to be into watching April Mason. She had or has like this whole school for women that want to get married, and her way of training them into being wettable women. But I felt like a lot of her tactic was seduction, and I decided to no longer partake in what she had going on. Even though just speaking, like what she was saying, I can't remember anything that she said that I disagreed with. That's not to say that she didn't say anything I didn't disagree with, but I can't think of anything right now at this moment. But overall, the package that she was offering just looked like seduction, and I wasn't cool with that, so I let that go. But as far as my opinion as of today, why marriages aren't lasting, I think it's because we're selfish. I think we're selfish, and some of it has to do with our rearing that has made us selfish. A good friend of mine said something that I never thought about, and a lot of questions are, when it comes to women, it feels like, I guess because I'm a woman, I don't know why, but it just feels like a lot of the ridicule is the woman. And maybe that's because I come across a lot of things with males. I've seen a few that will critique the male. Kevin Samuels actually did do male critique. He did male critique for years. No one heard of him. He started going toward women. He insulted a woman. You know, we cry. So the whole world had to hear our cry. And that's how Kevin Samuels became a villain. But I do feel like there's a lot toward us. I could be wrong, and I'm not sure there's a statistic about the percentage of critique podcasts or critique posts against quote unquote melanated women, because other nationalities don't do this, folks. You don't see no white guys or Chinese guys or any other national, Indian dudes. You don't see these people on the internet talking about their women. Now, a part of it, you'll say, well, that's their culture because of how their women are raised. And I would agree with you. But those nationalities also reside right here in the United States. Those nationalities reside here in the United States. Some of them are not, some of them may be first generation, but by this time, some of them are not first generation, whatever their natural lineage is. They're basically Americans by way of an Asian body, or an American by way of an Indian body. Like, I used to work with an Indian girl, and her family was trying to get her to marry her cousin so that her cousin come over here and go to school and get set up and do stuff like that. And she was like, I'm not down for that, which I ain't mad at her. But so yeah, they're here and they have the same ideas as an American woman, yet the black woman is the only woman, from my perspective where I sit, that gets attacked for a mentality. Am I saying it's right as far as what they're being attacked or critiqued on? Because sometimes it's critique and sometimes it's attack. Despite whether it's, some of the attacks are true, but the saying, I guess, is it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I think that was the main issue with Kevin Samuels. It wasn't necessarily what he was saying, it was how he was saying it. He kind of said it in a way that if you didn't have a certain level of emotional intelligence to listen to him, you would miss it and you would hate him with everybody else. So, yeah. But I think we're selfish. And what my friend said was, people talk about why don't we act the way our ancestors did, in the sense of the women. Why don't you women act like y'all grandma? Y'all grandma didn't act this way. She knew how to respect a man. She knew how to take care of a man. And what she said, I was like, I never thought about that. She said, we have the mentality of what our grandmother told us, what our mothers told us. This is a result of that. And I can say that I agree that it was a factor. Do I think or believe that it's an absolute reason? I don't. Now, some of the issues that we have today, we had in the times of our grandmothers and mothers and even great grandmothers. But I think from the side of what my friend said, as far as we are what our foremothers told us to be, the ones that did say anything that would produce a woman that would be disrespectful and non-nourishing to her man were probably fed up with the way the man that they had treated them and the way they saw the men around them. Immediate example that comes to my mind is the movie The Color Purple. Now, know that this is like top tier classic, one of my favorite movies. At the same time, I'm intelligent enough to be able to dissect that movie. I understand that that movie is a very strong piece of feminist propaganda. The book itself was written, the book that the movie was derived from, was written by a lesbian. How often do you expect a lesbian to praise a man? Other than the fact, low-key, she's complimenting him by trying to be like him. Let's say emulation is the best form of a compliment, something like that. But in that movie and in the book, all of the men were pretty rough. They were some pretty hard men to deal with. Some of them turned and they became better individuals. They realized the darker of their ways and decided to change and treat the women around them better. But I could see the women in that situation telling their daughters, don't let no man do such and such. Don't let no man do this. Or they do such and such, so why we can't do it? And depending on the level of admiration that daughter had for the mother in front of her, whether it be her direct mother, her grandmother, her great-grandmother, her auntie, they're all our daughters, right? No matter our position around them, the young lady that you are dealing with in front of you is your daughter. It just happens to be today, the day that I'm recording. It's National Daughters Day, I think. So, yeah, just throwing that out there. The young lady in front of you, whether you encounter her for a moment or a lifetime, that is your young daughter. So whatever her mother around her told her, depending on the level of admiration she had for that mother, she internalized that. Now, my own experience, my candid wisdom, I got more nonverbal cues from the mothers around me than I did verbal cues. The only verbal cue that I can remember to this day is my grandmother, Anna Mae Gardner. She was a Williams for a little while, but maiden name Gardner. Anna Hawks, whole nother show. From what I know, a pretty good woman. I didn't know anything that would make me feel some kind of way about her until she passed. So at the time of her telling me this, she was better than the sun in the sky itself. And what she told me was, she always asked me, what's a nugget? And my trained response, it's a little piece of gold. And she would always say that I was her nugget and I should never accept any wooden nickels. Now, as a kid, did I know what that meant? No idea. But as I got older, I understood she was talking about a man. I think, anyway. I think overall, just life, no wooden nickels. Sometimes that's a whole nother episode. Anyway. So why aren't marriages lasting? Why have we become a selfish people? I think social media has something to do with it. The suicide rate has increased for all nationalities. But whereas the melanated community, that wasn't something that we dealt with, our young men are now the most at risk for suicide in comparison to Caucasian whites or Caucasian males. They used to be number one on the scale of suicide. But now our young men have taken that over. Also, what was mentioned to me by another friend of mine, with the internet, in times past, who you had access to was whoever you could walk, drive, or whoever you dealt with for the most part on a regular basis. That's who was your in your dating pool. And then, of course, people have pecking order. So whoever within your quote-unquote league that you had access to, that's who you talked to, and you felt settled in that because you felt like you were chosen or you chose the best person out of who you had access to. Whereas now, with the internet and dating sites and dating apps, the entire world is at your fingertips. So people have become insatiable to where, and I myself can admit that I've been guilty of being insatiable when it comes to being chosen in the dating pool. There are certain standards that, of course, people have and are reasonable. But at the same time, I don't think that this is not an absolute, but I don't think that for the most part we were, my generation, raised to really understand how to select a partner or look for a partner when it comes to marriage. The unspoken cue is if he makes you laugh, if the sex is good, you got you a winner. Nobody tells you, first of all, y'all don't need to be sleeping together. There may be a few people, but for the most part, everybody like, go ahead. So there's no real conviction in that sense. And then no one, for the most part, in the melanated community teaches financial intelligence and financial sense. So you wouldn't look for that in a partner. And above all, in the realm of selfishness, women are taught that men should cater to them, and men are taught that they should cater to women. Now, there are some old school exceptions, and some people were allowed the opportunity to be exposed to those, but they seem to be very few and far between, and they come a day late and a dollar short. A lot of people that I interact with, we're just learning how to do these things, and we're not 30s, late 20s, 40s, a day late and a dollar short. So when we're taught, or with some people, once you realize what it really is, it's absolutely nothing like what was projected to us. Now, I've heard and seen a lot of people, just like with life is what you make it. Your marriage is what you make it. And I believe that. But it's definitely not, and I don't believe going to be anything like is projected to us. Now, looking at this statistic wise, let's look at the significant racial gap in marriage rates in the United States. This is from November 21st, 2022. New data from the U.S. Census Bureau shows that 49.9% of the U.S. population over the age of 15 was married in 2021. But when we break the data down by race, there are significant differences. Nearly 54% of the white population was married compared to 31.2% of the black population. Only 27.5% of the white population had never been married compared to half of the black population. Why is it that, quote unquote, black people are not getting married? I think a part of it has to do with premarital sex, because a lot of people I've seen, they will plan a child before they'll plan marriage, which to me is absolutely crazy. Why would I plan a child with someone I'm not married to? Is beyond me. But there are people, many people in the United States, who will plan a child before they will plan marriage. They feel that marriage is not necessary. I feel like, but not sure that I can find a statistic on it, they're just afraid of the solidification of the commitment. They want to be able to take the easy out. It's easier to tell your boyfriend or your girlfriend, I'm done. Don't even worry about it. It's harder, of course, when you have a child, because it's not a clean, I'm done. Don't even worry about it. And you go on with your separate life. It's a, I'm done. Don't even worry about it. That turns into, you know what? Maybe we should try. So you have a child that goes back and forth in this turmoil, if this turmoil occurs. Now, this is not to say that this can't happen in marriage, but I would like to believe that it's more likely when nobody's married, because there's no paperwork, there's not the strenuousness of separating things. You get this, I get this. Now, in some situations, there may be, depending on the level of financial success or the amount of material things that is had between the couples and how long they've been together. But I still do not believe it's to the magnitude of separating an actual marriage. But bringing a kid in definitely complicates it. Now, looking back at the article, it says some 34.4% of black men were married in 2021 compared to 28.6% of black women. For whites, 55.5% of men and 52.4% of women were married. More than 48% of all black women and 51.1% of black men have never been married. Why? Why is marriage? It seems like marriage was back in the day. Now, some of them was forced. Yeah, we gonna just keep it outright. Some of them were forced. Somebody went and did some stuff they wasn't supposed to do. Little evidence came up about a month or two later, and you gonna marry my daughter. So yeah, some of them were forced. But at the same time, they were, I know some people might say, well, we're just looking at statistics and we just looking at people that was married and how many people got divorced. Just because they didn't get divorced, it don't mean it was a successful marriage. I agree. I'm not going to dispute you on that. At the same time, I guess the best way I could present this point of view, if you are familiar with Judge Lynn Tollier, she used to do divorce court. She's not shy about, I don't think she talks about her father as much anymore because people are just people. But she has two books. One is Dear Sonali and the other is My Mother's Rules. Both are very good books. If you hadn't listened to or read them, I would suggest them. I have. I think My Mother's Rules, I've probably listened to that one more than once. But she talks about how basically her mother raised her to be the woman that she is. And her mother raised her to be emotionally intelligent because she had a nervous breakdown at a very young age and she dealt with anxiety a lot. Something that wasn't really helpful to the anxiety is her father had mental health issues. Now, what she talks about often is how resilient her mother was in situations where her father became unhinged, and how her mother explained that to them as children, how her mother never down-talked her father. Her mother never disrespected her father. Her mother respected and understood the man that she accepted, and she respected and understood the woman that she had to be for him. And Judge Tollier talks about how it was chaotic, of course, but her father was always about his business. He made sure that his children were taken care of. He made sure that they had good education. She, of course, turned out to be a judge. Her sister turned out to be a neurosurgeon. So they did something right. And she just talks about how her mother managed that, how her father could be perfectly fine, and then something happened and he decided that he wanted to maybe snatch all the curtains off all the windows or whatever the situation be. And the lines that her mother set with her father, like, hey, I know you have this issue, but this is what I will not accept. And him appreciating her so much, to which I really don't understand, he was able to keep those boundaries. So where you say these people, yeah, they might have been married, but it wasn't a successful marriage in the sense of they just stayed together to stay together. The older I get and the more I learn, the more I can appreciate Judge Tollier's testimony of her parents' relationship. Because the way relationships are presented to us is that everybody is supposed to be perfect. This is from, I'll say this is from a word of mouth perspective. From my experience, it's only speaking my experience. I cannot testify to anybody's experience or encounters other than my own. So this is not your same experience. You wouldn't be able to relate. So, and it's also, my experience is not to say it's the absolute truth and that yours is not true, or that your experience makes my experience false. We all have different perspectives, and different people that we have access to. But when it comes to marriage, what I've seen in real life marriage is turmoil. But what I've seen good marriages too. One of the poster couple, as they said about Papoose and Remy, the poster couple for me was my aunt and my uncle. Had an aunt and uncle, and this uncle was like, from our perspective, like the best, the most successful out of all of my father's siblings. And him and his wife seemed to be the perfect couple. But as their children came of age, they got divorced. I don't know why they got divorced. I didn't ask. But it was about like Remy Ma and Papoose. It was like, how could this happen? Like, you're the ideal couple. How are y'all not together? But it's because when it comes to relationships, on movies, there's always like one big fight, one big fallout. And the guy realizes that he was the one wrong, so he go running through the airport or swimming through a lake of crocodiles or whatever dramatic, over the top thing he gotta do to go get the woman, which I think it was it Martin? Maybe there was one where they went through all of that, and by the time they got to wherever they were going, a woman was gone. But that's what we were raised to believe that men should do for us. All these outlandish, crazy things that these men have to do to prove that they love us, while we just do whatever. And everything that we said has to go because a happy wife is a happy life, and the woman knows best, and all this other crap that we've been fed that has basically put us in a really bad position. The feminist movement, I mentioned it a little bit with The Color Purple. Like, the feminist movement, it wasn't a good thing. I'm not a fan of the feminist movement. It attacked the family. It hit the family from a few different angles. From one, it made a woman believe that she could do the same thing, if not better, than a man. Now, this has nothing to do with race. It's just that from where I sit, it seems like, and looking at the statistic, remember, we look at my opinion and then see if the opinion is correct, if I could prove it statistically. Well, I was going to say, it seems like it affects my people, melanated people, these darker hued chocolate babes. We just out here single, and that's not even exclusive to females. I'm referring to males as well. Natural males and natural females are not getting married. And the statistic proves me correct. Natural melanated men, natural melanated women are not getting married at the same rate as at least their Caucasian counterparts. Is it because we're raised, the women, to be like, oh, he gotta do all this for me? I recently heard someone told me after I saw a video, they saw a different video. I saw a video with Ocho Cinco, and someone was asking him about a first date. And I guess there's like this thing going around about, somebody said that you have to spend at least $300 on the first date with them. Like, really? Why? I thought we just getting to know each other. Why is it required that a man spend $300 on you? That's just foul from jump. Because are you trying to date me or are you trying to get it in my pocket? That's crazy. Why would you do that? Makes no sense. Why can't we just take a walk in the park somewhere? Hit a Jill Scott. You know what I'm talking about? Like, why? Why does it have to be $300? Why do we as women have all of these? And it don't even have to be money. Like, if you really are honest with yourself as a woman, and I guess this is something that bothers me. It bothers me because I'm single, for one. So I really have to examine myself. There are women and men that have come out, and a man was the first person to tell me this. He wasn't interested in me on a relationship scale. I had nothing but brothers growing up that I grew up with anyway. And when it came to my friends, for the most part, my friends were going to be men. Maybe that's because I had brothers and the way I was raised, and I just generally did not have a lot of female friends. I would have probably one female friend, and she would have friends. So if I hung around her, then there were females around me. But for the most part, it was me, my female friend, and her brothers, or some men or males, because we were kids in a lot of instances. In my younger adult years, like in my 20s or whatever, like if I went out, hung out, whatever, there were always guys with us for the most part, and those were our friends. They weren't trying to get in our draws. They was our brothers. So I've had male perspective, but not really talked to until I got like in-depth, deep male perspective stuff. Maybe like my late 20s, early 30s. Somewhere in that area where people were sitting down and intentionally talking about what either position, male or female, needed to do to be in a position, a proper position for marriage. Around that age. Yeah, around that age, right? Maybe between 28 and 30. No, definitely by 30. So, yeah, it bothers me that for the most part, it's the melanated. Like I said earlier, I've yet to see a white podcast, talking about, yeah, these women need to submit. Like, like, that's not other people. Other people are not having these conversations, okay? At least not on a public scale. They're not on the internet airing out their dirty laundry as much as we are, right? So I may have already said it. I know that if you follow me throughout this whole ZMR journey, career, Tahala Yahuwah for it, I'm very thankful for this. My goal this season is to try to, I don't think I'll be able to solve it. I don't think we'll be able to solve it. But I would like to have constructive dialogue that perhaps can contribute to the resolution of trying to repair the quote-unquote black, melanated, African American, whatever it is you decide to call yourself, family unit. Because we're marrying other nationalities. Nothing wrong with that. If that's your thing, get what you want. As one of my favorite people will say, get what you like. Right? I'm not knocking that. At the same time, though, we're going to be a dying breed after a while. So, I mean, we are a dying breed. Look at us. These not the only statistics where we suffer the worst. Like I just mentioned, suicide. Our younger black men, younger black boys, they top rated for suicide now. So we're dying at all types of angles. And if we're not marrying each other, we're not productively procreating, because we can procreate. Everybody go have sex outside of marriage, have all these kids that's gonna be messed up in the head because if they're not being properly tended to, they're not being taught the correct things or the proper things to survive. I saw some earlier today. It was two teachers, and they were talking about, one was a 7th grade teacher, and he was saying that some of his students were on a 4th grade level, some of them were like kindergarten and 2nd level, and he was mainly pointing the finger at parents. And the teacher behind him, she didn't say what grade she taught, but she mentioned how the kid will have on the latest J's, the cleanest outfit, clean as far as like well put together outfit. They'll know all of the latest lyrics of whatever the latest ridiculous song is. But when it comes to their classwork, they baffled. They don't know what's going on. And then the parents want to kick and throw fit at the teacher. But excuse me, you should know this if you're active in your child's life. Now, being fair, or being, I guess, giving space for grace, as Wendy J, there's grace in this space. Flourish, girl, flourish. The world, this country, I don't know about other countries, but this country, maybe Canada, inflation is serious, folks. And that's another reason why I don't like the feminist movement, not specific to inflation, but specific to the fact that where women saw, oh, we're getting our power, we're not going to let men oppress us. You let the government snatch you out of your house. You were the safeguard of your child's mind, and you hand delivered that over to the government to be able to say that you can do as much as your protector can do, and you can provide as much as your provider can provide. Absolutely crazy to me. Because I now sit here, video I saw recently. It was a young lady, it was a TikTok video. I'm going to believe that she was African, maybe. And I've seen the ones in time past. I've even used it on the show where somebody, what's your dream job? And say, I do not dream of work. Well, hers was similar. She said, I don't dream of a full-time job. I dream of being a wife. That is Wisdom Simone's dream. It has been Wisdom Simone's dream since she was a child, to be a wife and to be a mother. Now, I don't remember who it was, but somebody told me I had to get a job. So with that, I was like, okay, I'll be a lawyer. I want to be a lawyer. I want to keep people off the streets that are going to harm and hurt other people. And then I learned that maybe lawyers have to represent people that aren't necessarily innocent. And I said, okay, I'll be a police officer. And in order to be a police officer, I had to go to the military. And I was going to do that. And then Bush became president. And I was like, not interested. I'll just be... And then I also considered you can arrest someone, but they can still get out. So with all of those things, I said, I would like to be a juvenile probation officer. And I wanted to be a juvenile probation officer because I consider every criminal was a child at one point. And someone could have gotten a hold of that child and just let them know that they cared about them, that they loved them. There are some children you can't turn. They're just bad seed. It's just like that. It's sad, but it's just like that. Just bad seed. But there are some that are not bad seed. They're just not in the right ground. They may not necessarily know what's accessible to them, and they may not feel that anybody cares, so why should they care? So me being that probation officer, I would be able to do that. So that's what I wanted to be. That's what I thought would fit me. It would still be within my nurturing skills. And I would be able to protect people by just showing them that I care. But outside of that, never. Life did what it did. I chose how I chose, and here I am. I am not a juvenile probation officer, nor am I a wife. I do a few things to survive. Nothing janky. But at the same time, career woman has never been my goal. Yet, that is what is pushed and promoted amongst our daughters. I've encountered all married individuals will tell you to tread your ground softly. You don't want to turn yourself over to someone who is not serious or has an understanding, basically, of what they're getting into. Now, looking at divorce rates, who do you think has the highest divorce rate of any other demographic? If you have the pleasure of listening to this on ZMR Radio, whether it be through Telegram or through YouTube or through Facebook, let us know in the chat, or let me know in the chat. Who do you think, demographic wise, has the highest rate of divorce? Overall, worldwide, the United States is the sixth highest in divorce. 40 to 50% of couples divorce. Now, something I thought about in reading that, I wonder if these statistics are for first time. Okay, here it is. I was going to say, are they for first time marriages? This is divorce.com article from September 20th, 2023. So only 5 days ago. This is a hot, fresh article. Out of the 40 to 50% of married couples that file for divorce, second and third marriages have higher divorce rates. 60% of second marriages dissolve, and 73% of third marriages dissolve. Most couples go through divorce around 30. And married couples between the ages of 20 and 25 are 60% more likely to get a divorce. Now that I can understand, because I think that's very young to get married. I think if you get married that young and you hold it out, you are definitely a strong couple. Because at 20, between those ages, sometimes you're just kind of trying to find yourself, and you can marry somebody that made you feel good for all the wrong reasons, and then wake up at about 22, maybe 21, 20, somewhere between 20 and 25, and realize you made a big mistake. So I could see that. You're always changing. Like, I'm not who I was at 30, and y'all permit me be 50. I pray, ask that I not be the same person I was at 40, hopefully a better person at 50. The divorce rate for military is 3% on average. That's interesting. Military marriages seem to last a little longer. Among all generations, the highest divorce rate goes to baby boomers. 34.9% of baby boomers' marriages have been dissolved. The lowest rates of divorce can be found in Maryland, New Jersey, and Massachusetts. Shout out to those folks. Most people are getting divorced in Alabama, Kentucky, and Oklahoma. What's going on there? Now, I asked a question earlier and said, put it in the chat. I said, what demographic do you think has the highest divorce rate? Now, is it the highest? We'll find out as we continue to peruse through this divorce.com article from September 20th, 2023. 48 divorce statistics in the U.S., including divorce rate, race, marriage length. I'm interested in that marriage length. Black women. Yes, it hurts. Black women divorce at a higher rate, 38.9%, than women, get this, of any other race. Not just whites. Any other race. We get divorced more than any other woman. Why? Why do we get divorced more than any other woman? That's crazy to me. When I saw that hurt a little bit. But I think it's because there are so many different micro reasons that I can think of. And I feel like I probably would be able to back those up statistically. 33% of divorces among African American so-called African American women per every 1,000 marriages. Hispanics behind at 22%, white women at 19%, and Asians at 11%. Why do we get divorced more than anybody else? I think that I don't think I'll be able to find a statistic on this. This is just a hypothesis. Hypotheses, however you would like to say it. I think that with all the other factors in the system that governs the land that we live in, there are so many different stress factors. Tyler Perry recently was talking to somebody about relationships. Something that I heard him say was he spoke on how Black women in this country, they are 9 out of 10 gonna make more than their husband or their male counterpart, whoever they're dealing with. If he is a melanated man, she is likely going to make more money than he does. Now, do other women use this or feel like this is some attribute or accolade that makes her better than her man? Don't know. Like I said, as far as I can see, melanated, so-called Black African Americans, we're the only ones airing our dirty laundry on the internet. I don't see Asians do it. I don't see Caucasians do it. I don't see no other nationality on the internet pointing their fingers at anybody as far as relationships are concerned. So, what's up with us? Looking at another article, what says, I'm guessing that this is probably a divorce lawyer situation. Just great lawyers, the easiest way to find top lawyers near you. Divorce statistics, this is actually from 2021, so a little more dated. Our other one was from 5 days ago, but this one has some other information on it that's quite interesting. It breaks down divorce even down to occupation, but let's stick with this melanated woman getting divorced more than anybody else. In 2000, this one's 2018, 30.8 divorces per 1,000. So where were we, or where are we now? It was 30.8. This one's 33%. So it went up, what, like 2, 3? No, 2, because 30.8. It went up 2 divorces. 2 more people decided that, 2 more melanated black women, likely, looking at statistics, decided that they didn't want to be with their men anymore. I don't see anything that tells whether these are interracial relationships or same nationality. I'm interested in those statistics because I see a lot of interracial marriages, and I, again, don't see any other nationalities. I don't see no white guys talking about, yeah, you black women. I don't see them saying, yeah, you white women. I don't see any other nationalities talking about their counterparts. Men either. Don't see no Caucasian women, you white men, you black men. I ain't seen it. So why we got so much time on our hands to run each other down? Why can we not come together constructively and figure this out so we can save our kids? Because that's who it affects. It affects us, definitely. But let's be realistic. We on our way out the door. Okay? There's a world that we live behind us that's molded and formed by what we did when we were here. What are we leaving them? What are we telling them? How are we telling them that they should continue to cultivate the world that we leave behind? When I think about like just how life is, I look at it kind of from the perspective of mowing this like really narrow, large yard. I can't even tell you how long this yard is. The yard's not very wide, but it's extremely long. And in my mind, I can see someone pushing a lawnmower until they can't push it anymore. And it's your child's responsibility to keep pushing that lawnmower. What did you tell them that can make the yard in front of them better than the yard behind them? Maybe it's a crazy analogy, but just stay with me. It is our responsibility to make sure that our children leave a better place than we did. And if everything that we're handing back to them is destruction, the grass gonna start dying, folks. It's already started dying. Divorces by occupation. Just a quick digression. The lowest rates of divorce, actuaries, 17%. If you got you an actuary, you likely got you a keeper. 17% is the lowest of the lowest. The highest of the lowest is going to be physicians and surgeons at 21.8. Right behind them are religious and education directors at 21.3. These people, physical therapists, clergy, scientists, they pretty much stay together. I think because these are challenging positions. I will say that because you as an individual, marriage, I'm not married again. But as I get older and the more I'm around married people, the more I was going to say study marriage. I don't really study marriage, but I pay attention when marriage is brought up. Because if I'm ever allowed to be married, I want to, of course, stay married, but I don't want to stay married just to stay married. I want to stay married and be productive in my marriage and beneficial to my husband. Because I know the more beneficial I am to him, the better our marriage should be. So with all of those positions that I thought spoke of, software developer, chemical engineers, these are pretty challenging positions and take a certain level of intellect. And you kind of have to take your time in these positions. So with that, I think that those skills help a marriage. So when things happen, you can kind of look at it from a different perspective. Highest rates. Number one out of highest are going to be gaming and casino managers, 52.9%. Bartenders are behind that at 52.7. Gaming service workers, 50.3. Telemarketers, 49.2. Compacting machine operators, 48.8. Switchboard operators, 49.7. Not really sure what would contribute to that. Not to disrespect or insult those positions, but they don't really sound like a whole lot of critical thinking in those positions. Possibly could be why, in contrast to what I said about the others. Just hypothesis. Just hypothesis. Still talking about women. Now, we're the most likely to get divorced, but is it because we're asking for divorce or is it because we're being asked for divorces? What do the statistics say? We're looking now at Forbes. This article is relatively fresh, August 8th of this year, 2023, revealing divorce statistics in 2023. Looking at divorces, who initiates them? Who do you think initiates more divorces? Now, I just saw something that I didn't think about before because I'm thinking as I would think. But these statistics, I believe, all encompass heterosexual relationships exclusively. Don't know anything about homosexual relationships, not really interested in that. Because I don't see it being productive. If that's what you want to do, then yeah, it's your thing, literally and figuratively. Do what you want to do. But here, I'm interested in heterosexual relationships, because I believe that those are productive, fruitful, and more of what we need. But it looks like women, 69% of divorces are initiated by women. Now, I recently had a conversation about this also, and it goes back into what I said as far as how marriage is presented to us or how relationships are presented to us. And the conversation was like I said, we're raised to believe that they should cater to us. We can do no wrong, and that's not the situation. They said that they were raised to believe the same thing, that they should cater to us, men should cater to us. They should do everything to keep us happy, and that if we did anything, it was because of something that they did. So I think that women are leaving these marriages because they don't feel good anymore. And something that many of us, weren't taught is that marriage does not always feel good. Marriage is about resilience. It's about finding someone that you believe in and sticking with them no matter what. Even when they piss you off to nth degree, you remember who you are. You remember who you married, if they're still that same person. And you make an assessment as far as what you would like to do. Because I don't believe that you should just stick in a marriage absolute no matter what happens. You definitely have to protect yourself. It's a unit. You're no longer an individual, but at the same time, you're an individual. And you have to maintain your own health for it to even be anything fruitful. You can't maintain your own health, that kills the whole unit. Right? Something even sadder that I see. Women in failing marriages are less likely to regret divorce. yet more likely to place blame on their spouse. What are we doing? Why can we not take accountability for things if it is legit our fault? Attitudes about marriage. Let's see, this is AVO. I have no idea what AVO is. I'm guessing it's some type of relationship situation, some study or something. There's pictures of people in relationships. I appreciate that there are two darker you melanated individuals together. That's something else that's generally presented to us. There's going to be either a darker complexion guy and a really light skinned woman, or a dark skinned woman and a Caucasian guy. There's never, that I see, two darker complexion people. Multivoo.com. There's no date. Yes, there is. May 17, 2016. This date is. The AVO Inc. annual study of relationship trends across the United States finds that when it comes to failing marriages, more women tend to blame their spouse than men do and move on without regrets. When asked who is responsible for the end of their marriage, 64% of divorced women blamed their spouse, as compared to just 44% of men saying the same. Now, this isn't broken down by nationality. Nope, don't see anything broken down by nationality, race, etc., etc. But what are we doing, women? What are we doing? Who told us? I don't know. I want to say, who told us that we were like this grand prize that we could just pitch men off? And I don't say that pointing the finger. Wendy J said this in her last, as of today, Flourish Girl Flourish, Embrace the Pivot, talking to me. Because I've made some foolery mess in relationships. More men than women, here it is, this is what I'm looking for. More men than women say both spouses should share the blame. That's what I was looking for, with 42% of men agreeing and only 29% of women saying the same. I think that those 42 and 29% individuals are fair and honest. That's not to say that all of the other 98% group, the 64 and the 44, that's not to say that they're not telling the truth. There are situations where somebody is abusing someone, well, that's the sum of it. Somebody is abusing somebody. You're mistreating somebody, you're abusing them. So, yeah, that would be your fault. There are situations where some people will try to work through those situations. They'll try to give a person space to change and do whatever they need to do to be a bigger person. But we all have that fed up line. Sometimes the love line can increase the fed up line a little bit. You might get to the bottom of fed up, but that love line give that little extra boost. That's what marriage, I think, should be. That fed up, give fed up a little extra boost. When it's not something that's just like absolute no. Somebody bush in your head, male or female, and you like, oh, wait for him to change. In some situations, you're going to be dead before they change. So get out of that situation. But if it's not like questioning your mortality situation, even with quote unquote emotional abuse, verbal abuse, that can be almost equivalent to getting busted in the head. So I wouldn't say stick around for that either too long. But especially if a person ain't trying to do nothing different, they don't see nothing wrong with what they doing or whatever, ain't no change coming. Just save your life while you got it. But as far as the 42% of men agreeing with both spouses shared the blame and 29%, I can agree with that. Because I think in a lot of situations, our emotions don't allow us to see that in reasonable stuff. Like I said, not the beating stuff, not the emotional abuse stuff, not the outliers, not that stuff. just general run of the mill. He left his socks on the bed. She always leave her bra hanging over the door. Like, of course, there are bigger disputes than that, but the general dispute, I think it's just small things that add up. It's us not really tending to our partner, being selfish, only looking for what the relationship serves for you and not necessarily what you serve in the relationship or how you serve in the relationship. There's a lot of men, I don't see no white guys. I don't see no Indian guys. I don't know how many times I say that. Maybe I won't say it no more. But I guess that's just big for me. There are no other nationalities hollering back and forth for the internet talking about each other. The guys that are out there, some of them, they talk about a woman being feminine. And she has to submit, she has to do this, and she has to do that, and all this other stuff. And I've seen some men, of which I agree with. I agree with both sides. I do agree that you should be feminine. I think feminine is now kind of relative. I don't really know how to fully encompass feminine, but I don't always see feminine as damsel in distress. And I don't see it that way because I'm not always a damsel in distress. I was raised helping my dad fix cars. I had brothers. I'm not the traditional feminine. However, if I am in love with you, I can still fix a car too. But all of my woman is out for you. All of my vulnerability is out for you. So I think that feminine is relative and feminine is, there are some key parts of femininity that just are absolutely indisputable, of course. But as far as how femininity presents itself, not completely sure on that. And I almost feel like I kind of sound like the Letter Alliance a little bit. Nothing to that effect. But just speaking on my own behalf, I'm not super prissy. I don't think feminine is always super prissy. I'm scared because there's a lizard on the door. I don't think that's indisputable component of femininity. Best way I can put it. With that, I've seen some men say, and this was another interview that I saw with Judge Tollier. It was a podcast. I can't remember the name of the podcast. But the guy had on a shirt, and his shirt said, "Keep women feminine." And she told him that she didn't like his shirt. And she said the reason she didn't like his shirt was something similar to what I just said. She said, because I'm not feminine. And her testimony was similar to mine, save for the car stuff and under her dad. Just generally, she wasn't the super prissy, I gotta have my nails done, I gotta have my hair done, I gotta just be this super delicate individual. And what he told her was his shirt did not actually mean what she thought it meant. What his shirt meant, it was directed toward the male. His shirt meant that a man should set the stage for a woman to be feminine. Now, should a woman, just buck up, disrespect, do whatever, run over a man, GP? No, not at all. At the same time, I don't believe that a man can ask a woman to play his position and still maintain hers. So if you want a woman to remain feminine, make sure that you also remain masculine in all areas that you need to be masculine. Now, just as I don't believe femininity is super prissy, vulnerable, running, or overly vulnerable and super delicate, running from the lizard on the door. I don't believe that masculinity is ha ha ha, bravado, kicking down the door and doing all kinds of outlandish things to present this strength. You got your all the stuff that men try to present as masculinity. That actually has nothing to do sometimes with masculinity. Yes, it's things that men do, but there are more intangible traits, just like with femininity. There are intangible traits that are more valuable than the exterior presentation of masculinity. So, him, as well as other posts that I've seen, say, if this is what you want, set the stage for that. And I agree. Again, I don't condone a woman just bucking and just being stupid with a guy just to do it. Respect him. But at the same time, if you put your woman in your position, you can't be mad if she's in your position. You put her there. You can't put her in a position of struggle and survival. Expect her to maintain it and still want damsel in distress. It's completely contradictory. Is it true? Who's more selfish? Are we selfish? Is that why we're not getting married? Well, it looks like, at least for the melanated community, well, no, overall, all nationalities, women, but above any nationality, melanated women. So maybe, possibly, that's a question we can explore on another episode. Why are black women getting divorced more than any other nationality? And now it's time for our Zamar. Tonight we'll review Ashah, written by yours truly, Wisdom Simone. Tell me without you if I would be, 'cause I came from you, created from your rib while you was asleep. I'm your dream come true, made to serve your needs. Strength you are for me, protect me when I'm weak. Together, we're a perfect team. Yahuwah made me for you. Suitable help me, I'll prove. Keep your castle clean. Benny, I will feed. Do benevolence, yes, I can cater to your needs. Wingman to your hustle, boy, just tell me what you need. Tahalim to Yahuwah for the yum that you found me. I'm your Ashah. Yahuwah's gift just for you. I'm your Ashah. Comfort to help you make it through. I'm your Ashah. Made for you to cleave to. To death do us part, I'll see to you. Yah made me from you. I'm your Ashah. Tell me how you do it, boy. I see you got the strength of Elohim. You're a perfect mirror. You foresee too, leading our mishvachah with ease. No doubt, I'll submit to you. Your Shah is so sadak. I trust you give your life for me, like Yahusha for the Adah. Yes, I'm thankful for you. Suitable help me, I'll prove. Keep your castle clean. Benny, I will feed. Do benevolence, you know I cater to your needs. Wingman to your hustle, call and tell me what you need. Tahalim to Yahuwah For the yum you came to me, I'm your Ashah. You who was gift just for you, I'm your Ashah. Comfort to help you make it through, I'm your Ashah. Made for you to cleave to death do us part, I'll see to you. Yah made me from you, I'm your Ashah. Tahala Yahuwah, through Yahusha, Hadu, for your listening ear. This has been my Candid wisdom. To label. Shalom.
Tell me without you if I would be, 'cause I came from you, created from your rib while you sleep. I'm your dream come true, made to serve your needs, strength you offer me, protect me when I'm weak. Together we're a perfect team, you made me for you. Suitable, help me, I'll prove. Keep your castle clean, Benny I will feed. Do benevolence, I can cater to your needs. We met to your hustle, boy, just tell me what you need. Darling to you, for the you that you found me, I'm your Ashah. You was given just for you, I'm your Ashah. Comfort to help you make it through, I'm your Ashah. Made for you to cleave to death do us part, I'll see to you. Y'all made me from you, I'm your Ashah. Tell me how you do it, boy, I see you got the strength of all of me. You're a perfect mirror, you foresee to leading our mission with ease. No doubt I will submit to you, your shine so strong. I trust you, give your life for me like Yahushua for the Adias. I am thankful for you. Suitable, help me, I'll prove. Keep your castle clean, Benny I will feed. Do benevolence, you know I cater to your needs. We met to your hustle, call and tell me what you need. Darling to you, for the you came to me, I'm your Ashah. You was gift just for you, I'm your Ashah. Comfort to help you make it through, I'm your Ashah. Made for you to cleave to death do us part, I'll see to you. Y'all made me from you, I'm your Ashah. With your strength, I have your back for better or worse. Richer or poor, sickness and health, together we'll work. Kubu to